Hey, what is going on everybody? It is Nolan, or the Optimistic Gamer here, and welcome back to the Optimistic Survival Series. As mentioned in the last episode, today we are going to be focusing on some of our new building blocks, which we have stored in this chest right here, Sulfur and Cinnabar. I have a couple different plans in mind for what we are going to do today. One of them a brand new building up on the hill next to the windmill, the other a renovation slash redesign of what is, to be completely honest, one of my least favorite buildings in our world thus far. But we are going to redesign it. We are going to make it look a lot nicer and transform it into something that will fit very nicely into our world. Of course, if you remember, this was our old smelting factory. We still have some remnants of that with the lava chambers and a few cauldrons in here. But we are going to completely redesign it. We might turn it into a sulfur spike factory so that we can harvest those and use them for any decorations or anything like that. And then that other building is going to be one of the designated plots that we have. It's going to follow this cyan wall outline, sort of hang over the edge of the cliff, and it's just going to be a series of townhomes, if you will, put all next together. We will have, I think, 4 in total, and again, it will take up roughly the outline of that cyan wall, because as we continue to expand out into the open plains here, we want to make sure that we are continuously building the area around it as well. So I'm going to go get those blocks and meet all of you right up here, and we will get started on our first build of the day. Alright, we've got the workstation all set up, we've got all of our materials here, and to get started we are actually going to start with the lower foundation of this using deep slate bricks and building these supports, because obviously we wouldn't want to have a floating house over a canyon. That would not be a very smart idea. So let's grab some shears and remove some of this wall and put in a layer of deep slate bricks. We are also going to have some supports similar to the ones that we have here on the bridge that go into the ground here, but for now it's just going to be the deep slate bricks. And then this initial layer is going to be 2 blocks thick before we start building the rest of those supports. We're just going to be very careful that we don't fall down into the canyon below us. And there we go, nothing to it. And then as for those supports themselves, we are just going to keep it relatively simple. We're going to have some upside down stairs in between, and I fell in. That was bound to happen eventually. In fact, it might be in our best interest to put up some scaffolding to make it a little bit easier to build this. We don't have a happy ghast nearby. That would be another tool that would be very useful to us. Alright, now that we have that scaffolding up, we can do this a little bit easier. So again, we are going to do upside down stairs in between what will be the main supports for this, and then for those main supports we're just going to do a block and an upside down stair and then a right side up stair behind it, and we are just going to repeat that pattern until we get into the cliffside. So those supports will look like that, and we will just repeat those in each of these sections here until we have, I think, a total of 5 or 6. I think our next order of business after we're done building today is going to be lighting up this area down here with torches, but with that all finished, we can fly over here and take a look at that from a distance, and you can see it looks like it provides very strong support for this section of the building. I'm going to grab the rest of that scaffolding, and then we'll start working on the walls. For the walls, we are going to outline them using Cinnabar. The corners are going to be polished Cinnabar. And here on this side, we are actually going to extend this all the way down to the ground. So we will need 1 more polished Cinnabar. And then the rest of this will be our deep slate bricks. And then in between all of the polished Cinnabar, we are going to do Cinnabar bricks. And actually, for this part, we are going to move it down one more block towards the windmill. I know it's gonna be kind of tight over here spacing-wise, but it will give this build a lot more symmetry. There we go. And now for the areas in between the polished Cinnabar, we are going to do Cinnabar bricks. Those will blend quite nicely with the deep slate bricks here on the back and provide a nice outline for the sulfur when we go in to use that. So we will just fill in all of the areas in between those corners, and then down on this end it will be 2 blocks tall since it goes all the way to the ground. So now that we have that in place, we can start working on the rest of the walls. We will also want to remove some of this grass in here since we are going to have our flooring as well. And then underneath where the flooring will be, we will fill this area in with the deep slate bricks as well. That way when we look at it from below the building, we don't see the floor, we just see more of the bricks. So the walls are going to be a combination of polished sulfur, sulfur bricks, sulfur blocks, and then above the windows we are going to use chiseled sulfur. So we're just going to get some really nice texturing going with this. In between all of these sections here, we are going to carve out a space for the door just like that, and we are going to use Cinnabar bricks underneath the door as well. We're just going to make these walls 3 blocks tall, at least the sulfur part of them. And then directly above where the doors will be, we will use some upside down stairs. And then above those, we will place in the chiseled sulfur, just like that. And as you can see, we just have a really nice mixed texture going, providing us with some pretty good detail. So I'm going to do that for the rest of the walls, get the windows added in on the backside, and then we'll start working on the roof. Alright, and all the walls are finished now. We have some areas for the windows in the back, and before we place in the glass for those, we are going to put in some hanging plants. So for these, we will do a spruce trapdoor, coarse dirt, surround it with some more trapdoors. We will get those folded up. And I originally wanted to do cactus flowers out here, but we do not have any. So instead we are going to go with blue orchids, which will contrast nicely with the Cinnabar and sulfur and give us a nice vibrant flower. Also, while we are here doing this, I have been hard at work off camera since our last episode, doing some miscellaneous tasks. One of them a long overdue task, which was repairing our bow. It cost us, I think, about, I want to say between 17 and 30 levels. I forget the exact number off the top of my head, but that was finished up. I also went to the end and raided a handful of end cities so that we could get more shulker boxes, because I wanted to consolidate our storage a little bit more and have all of our resources in one place. So rather than having all of our overflow up here on the second floor, I've been packing up a lot of these items into shulker boxes and placing them into the chests where they belong. Of course, a lot of these are very full. I haven't done grass and dirt yet, but the deep slate, the stone, and the cobblestone, a lot of different blocks have been consolidated into shulker boxes, making it a little bit easier for us to manage and know exactly what we have. As a byproduct of that, I also came across a lot of diamonds and diamond armor, which is very helpful in our search for all of that. And then I've also been flying way out in the distance using our nether hub on the roof to go about 10,000 blocks out in each direction, fly around finding large caves and using night vision to get diamonds as well, which will actually put our total of diamonds up to about 3.5 stacks of diamond blocks. Again, we need, I think, around 57 stacks of diamond blocks, so we are nowhere near close to that, but I have tried to make some things very productive in the world as of recent. But anyway, getting back to this, it is time now for us to work on the roof. We are going to do an outline of deep slate tile slabs, and if you recall back to our river district building, the section in which we had the area that kind of steps forward one block at a time, we are going to do a roof similar to that, where it will step back each time. The roof will also come to a point in the middle on each side, just like that, and then in between all of the deep slate tiles, we are going to fill it in with spruce slabs. In this exposed part up here, we are also going to use Cinnabar bricks to hide the inside of the roof. And then our street light right here, we are just going to relocate this probably to the other side of the street, or maybe right over there. And again, this is going to get very close to our windmill, just a 1 block gap here. Fortunately, we only have a couple windows here on this side, and it's not really blocking anything of a view. The view is over on that side, and we will certainly not cover that up, at least not anytime soon. So we have both sides of the roof finished now, and the way the middle is going to work is we are going to continue making those triangles, and they will just be 1 block offset each time. And that will give us the roof outline that looks like this, and now all we need to do is go in and fill in between all of the slabs with our spruce planks. And at the very top, we will continue our deep slate tile slabs going across and forming that final outline. So I'm going to get the roof put on, I'm going to get the floors filled in, and then we will move on to our other building, the renovation, if you will. I will see all of you very soon. And there we have it. It's not our most complex or detailed build that we have done in this world, but it at least adds another building and brings a little bit more life into this part of town. Again, if we go over here to the backside of it, look across at it from the other side of the canyon, we can see it's sort of a warm welcome to this area of town, and we have the red glass in there to match with the Cinnabar, and again, those blue orchids providing that stark contrast. So now that we have that all finished up, we can head over to our old smelting area and fix that up, make it look a little bit nicer. Now, this is not going to be primarily Cinnabar and Sulfur like our last build was. In fact, I don't know if we will end up using any Sulfur. Instead, it is going to be predominantly dark oak planks replacing the stone brick, and we will put Cinnabar in the corners and as the roof outline to provide a really rich, warm red tone and a cozy feel to what was once a very cold industrial building. So we will start by replacing the corners, and I forgot that we had efficiency 5 with haste 2, so we will have to be a little bit more precise. Luckily, we have a tool for the job. And again, we will start replacing all of these outside corners with the Cinnabar. And another thing that I think we are going to do is actually raise the height of this front tower by a couple blocks. That way we can give a little bit more separation to this part of the roof and this part. And we are going to outline all of the different sections of the roof using Cinnabar bricks. And I know it looks like a lot of Cinnabar right now, but once we start getting everything else into place, it will look a lot better. And to answer a lingering question from last episode, yes, Cinnabar and I'm assuming Sulfur as well are instant mine with haste 2 and efficiency 5. And it's possible that it will work even with haste 1, but we're not going to change the beacon just to test that out. Not right now, anyway. So we'll get the rest of the Cinnabar put into all of the corners here in this front section. And now we can start working. I think we might even do it on the ground there as well. And now we can start working on the dark oak planks, and you will see instantly what I mean when I say it will be a drastic improvement. We can already see that rich warmth coming out of this building. And what we are also going to do is, since we are replacing the roof outline with Cinnabar, we are going to get these deep slate slabs replaced, but then we are going to extend this part of the roof into the front here, and we are going to build it up into a triangle that meets in the middle. And we are going to do the exact same thing with the stairs as well. We will turn these going towards the front and make a nice triangle right here. Another reason why I wanted to extend this part of the tower so that this part of the roof would stand out a little bit more prominently. Whereas before it would have been touching, now we have a little bit of separation, and we can fill in the rest of our dark oak planks, as well as leave that outline for the window here in the front. And then, of course, the rest of the deep slate for the roof will remain unchanged. The cobbled deep slate slabs here at the top, we will get those filled in. And now if we fly down here, we can take a look at that and see that that is already much better. So I'm going to do this for the rest of the building, get all of the stone brick taken out, redo the roof a little bit, and I will meet all of you back here once that is finished. See all of you very soon. Well, if you ask me, that is a significant improvement compared to what we had before. The building just needed some TLC, some change in the colors, and a little bit of detail with some trapdoors and fences for windows. It's a lot less industrial, a lot more cozy, and gives us a lot more potential for future activities. But for now, that is where we are going to end things. I really hope you enjoyed this look at building with the brand new Cinnabar and Sulfur blocks. If you did, be sure to hit the thumbs up button and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on videos as soon as I publish them. If you want to take your support to the next level, consider becoming a channel member. All of the information for that is in the description as well. And with all of that being said, comment, like, subscribe, remember to stay optimistic, and I will see all of you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye!